Woo. So speaking of WWE and speaking of stories, it seems like former WWE superstar, former MMA legend Ronda Rousey has been airing out some grievances, to say the least, regarding Triple H, regarding WWE, regarding Vince McMahon. And I kind of wanted to know your take on this. Yeah, I wanted to know kind of like your take on her remarks.
I'll be honest, it all comes off very weird. I could see myself being on her side if, like, let's just say from 2018 onward, that was her experience in WWE, so she was going through it with everybody else. But she has made multiple appearances with WWE. You know, where she was working around, the giants and whatnot. Right. She already went backstage. She already like talked to Vince. She already would talk to the execs and stuff like that. I mean, how else do you get onto a WrestleMania stage, Ronda? She did all that. She took her bag then. So she already kind of knew what she was getting her toes dipped into. And also, it's not like it's private knowledge about the abuse that women go through with WWE. There's been lawsuits. It's just that this is the biggest lawsuit.
Right.
So my confusion here is like, why all of a sudden now? Because you came back a third time for a full-time contract. You already experienced this company more than once. Now you're coming back in for a full-time contract. And it felt like when she first came in, there was light in her eyes, that she actually enjoyed being here, such as she did the first couple of times. And then it dwindled down very, 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 very fast. But it dwindled down... It dwindled down in parallel to when the fans turned on her. And then I just noticed from there on, she just didn't give a hoot about, like, was the match good, improving in the ring, her promos. It just got bad and worse and worse and worse. And it's just so funny replaying that Adam Pearce promo that went viral before, because it's just like, you could tell that's when it was at it's worse, but how they felt towards her. Can there be some truth to what she's saying? Yes, it just comes off weird, because just like, you still came back to collect multiple bags. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that, yes, women obviously went through hell with the WWE, but she kind of just makes it seem like she's, I guess, at the same level that the other women had to be. Like, the women that came into the WWE, they're on the roster now, they're suffering, is because they had to build themselves from the ground up getting here. Like, they, out of desperation and to keep their job and to keep their money, because they don't have anywhere else to go, they had to be subjected to these things. Ronda was fine. She had a name for herself. This is not a choice. Like, no one's forcing you to be here. So when I hear her make her complaints that she's talking about what she went through, it's like not even close to what the other woman had to endure. And she still had it relatively good. So she made it seem like she was put through the embarrassing matches. She made it seem like she was put to do demoralizing things. And it's just like, from the looks of it, it's like they still pampered you while you were here. You still got what you wanted. You still got a belt. You still had a long run. You actually ruined Sasha Banks' moment. I'm not letting it go. You had a WrestleMania moment. You didn't need to have that. They gave you like this big gimmick name of the baddest bitch on the planet. And you got to work with your best friend on the way out. I mean, not for nothing, it looks like you had it pretty well.
Right.
Now, I was listening to her interview, and she was saying that she had way more to say, but like there was a limit on her book on what she could say. Otherwise, she was going to rip into John Laurinaitis. That I was actually interested in hearing about, because, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as Ronda goes, it kind of just seems like she wants to give herself something to do. I don't think she's saying anything that we didn't already know, that's not been already revealed to by somebody else or the lawsuit. Like, I'm not seeing anything here that's like new. Like it just seemed like you're cashing in because you know WrestleMania is around the corner. So let me drop this book. Let me drop this now while Vince got a lawsuit. His hands are tied. They're at the peak of their own thing. So everyone's going to run over to this. And I don't think it's going to hit the way she thinks it's going to hit. That's just me personally. I do think that she probably went through her own experience, but it's just like, to me, I don't see what was the point of her putting her 2 cents of what she's seen behind the scenes. But do you see something else that maybe I'm missing? Because
So
it's an eye roll for me.
see, I agree. It's an eye roll to me as well. I think it's interesting how you can critique the same system that benefited you. I think that I think if we're being completely honest and transparent, like you said, all these things that are being critiqued are things that we all, it's kind of public knowledge that WWE has done. We know the abuse that, Vince McMahon has inflicted on innocent women, and it should be dealt with accordingly. However, I don't think that this is coming from a place of the desire to communicate truth. I think it's just a matter of bitterness, right? You came in, you got blinded by the lights, and when people started to see who you were as a performer and began to critique you, you became less concerned about the company's well-being and their image, as well as the opportunities of the people around you. And so I think that this is coming from a place of I'm going to stick it to them because I'm mad that it didn't go out the way that I expected it to go. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the reason why she's talking about it now. I think that's the reason why she walked out of the company the way that she did. I think that's the reason why she joined AEW briefly. I think that is the root of all of this. And I think that it's important to, let me just go back to my original point, which is that the same system that you are critiquing is the same system that you benefited from. The same people that were abusing women operate from the mindset that prior to, this new regime, right? Like the same women or the same people that were abusing women were the same people that believed that people like you deserve to be at the top of the card. And so I feel like once that is put into perspective, it's kind of weird that you're talking about it now, and that not even just now. I think you kind of talked about it briefly before, but I just feel like the energy just wasn't kept. And I think that it's primarily because you just wanted to milk everything from where you were. And once you got what you wanted and you was out of there, then you wanted to air it out. But if you're going to air it out from day one, bro. Like keep the same energy. And this is not me trying to slam Ronda Rousey. I think that she's a legend. I think that she is an icon. When we're talking about combat sports, I'm not talking about her wrestling career. When we're talking about MMA, she's a trailblazer in her own right. But I just think the energy just wasn't consistent from day one, and that's what bothers me. But let us know how you feel in the comments below about this particular issue. But we're going to be moving on to our